All right, let's do it. Coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles Now, we are officially 1 week into Eagles training camp. So on today's show, Philadelphia Eagles training camp winners and losers after 1 week of practice. But first, we're going live tomorrow right here on the channel. So much to talk about because this training camp up to this point has been riveting. And according to all accounts, the Eagles look to be locked and loaded to be one of the elite teams in the National Football League. Not much of a surprise, but they've been humming on both sides of the football. So we're going to discuss it in further detail tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific. That's why you subscribe and join us for the most entertaining, informative, and insightful Eagles coverage right here on YouTube. Without further ado, let's take a look at some Eagles training camp winners and losers. And we have to start off with Jalen Hurts. He has looked so good up to this point and really has been unblemished with his resume. Hasn't made any mistakes with the football. You look at his numbers through 1 week of practices so far. He is 48 of 60. He's thrown 4 touchdowns. He has yet to throw an interception up to this point, and he is completing 80% of his passes. No practice better than what he put forward on Tuesday when Hurts was basically unconscious. 2 touchdowns thrown. The connection with A.J. Brown has been so legit so far. And what Hurts has been able to display, accuracy, precision, making great decisions with the football, keeping the ball out of harm's way, which was a consistent theme last year. And that connection with A.J. Brown, nobody's been able to stop it. A.J. Brown has to go down as a winner as well. To a rookie now in Nolan Smith. Jalen Carter has not made as much noise as his Georgia teammate from last year. Even though Carter was selected at number 9, it's the 30th overall pick who's been turning heads in camp at the NovaCare complex. A breathtaking first step off the line of scrimmage has allowed him to get good leverage on the offensive linemen, but also beat those offensive linemen en route to the quarterback because he's been causing a lot of problems for the offense, just making a lot of noise in the backfield. The bend coming off the edge is also something that's been impressive in one-on-one drills, but also in 7-on-7s and on 11-on-11 drills. And that elite bend, I think, is what's going to help him really with being able to cause a lot of destruction in his first year because of that leverage that he can get, which allows him to get and stack up a lot of pressures. And we're talking about a player who hasn't really shown a lot of signs of being a rookie. Multiple pressures, multiple sacks, multiple turnovers forced, and the opposing quarterback, regardless of who it's been, has always had to keep in mind what Nolan Smith has been able to do. If I said 7-on-7s, you don't really have defensive linemen going up against offensive linemen in those 7-on-7 drills. I'm talking more so just from an overall standpoint of team drills and then one-on-one drills. Nolan Smith has been really good. Now let's go to the second level of the defense in Christian Ellis. He's gotten beat a couple of times by Dallas Goedert, but Dallas Goedert has been beating everybody, whether it's starters, backups, whether it's linebackers or defensive backs. Goedert has put forward a very good training camp. This is an interesting development, though, because during Tuesday's practice, it was Ellis getting more first-team reps than Nicholas Morrow with that first-team defense. And Ellis going all the way back to OTAs and earlier this offseason, he was the one who was intercepting passes, coming through with pass breakups, and consistently has been the better player as compared to Morrow, who was signed on that 1-year contract in free agency coming to Philadelphia from the Chicago Bears. This is a training camp battle that we have to continue to monitor here because Ellis so far has played better football than Nicholas Morrow. I'm not sure if you saw the clip yesterday of Trayvon Diggs going up to Dak Prescott at Dallas Cowboys training camp, but he told Dak to shut his bitch ass up. Now, I'll tell you this. We had a debate in the office, and I think it's a pretty big deal because no Eagles defender would ever say that to Jalen Hurts. So what I want you to do right now, F Dallas, of course, and you can type that in the comment section here, but go over to the Cowboys Report by Chat Sports on their YouTube channel, and I want everybody to just type, shut your bitch ass up, on their most recent video. All these wide receivers, I believe, are winners as well. A.J. Brown, he's been humming with that connection with Jalen Hurts. Quez Watkins had a huge day the other day as that vertical threat and home run threat on this offense. And then Joseph Ngata, the rookie undrafted free agent out of Clemson, and Britton Covey have done a good job as the wide receivers not named, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Quez Watkins. I'm not sure how many wide receivers the Eagles are going to have occupying as backups on this 53-man roster, but Ngata and Britton Covey have been two of the most impressive ones outside of the big three. Covey, of course, has the inside track to make this team because he has the special teams return ability, but Ngata is a big-bodied wide receiver who can go up and get it, and up to this point, he too has been impressive as a guy who might be able to crack this roster, and if not, land on the practice squad. We also have to mention a couple of more defenders here. Josh Joby is getting second-team outside cornerback reps. He is on the first-team kick-blocking unit. And then Mario Goodrich is also getting first-team slot reps right now. They can be deemed as winners up to this point as well. So with that, we tee up this question. Who's impressed you the most? Who's been your biggest Eagles training camp winner up to this point? Drop me a name or even names down below in the comment section. Some quick notables here. Jordan Davis is in better shape, and because of that, he feels better and has been impressive. Reed Blankenship has gotten first-team reps at starting safety every single practice. Nobody can defend Dallas Goedert up to this point, and Sidney Brown also has been impressive. We'll get to our losers here in just a second, but first, these Kelly Green jerseys are so fresh. I think they're the nicest uniforms in all of sports, and I'm so happy to see them return, and I think that this version of the Kelly Green threads, better than the 2010 version. I already got my Jason Kelce jersey. I ordered it yesterday, and I used our link, chatsports.com/Kelly Green. Some of the jerseys that you can get more available as compared to some other sites, so make sure you plug in that link down below. Get your Kelly Green jerseys. You can pre-order them now. Depending on the player, might be a little bit of a wait time, but even though Fanatics has posed that there might be a little bit of a wait time, I've had some people reach out to me saying their jerseys are already being shipped. So some of them being pre-ordered, some of them already in transit. Chatsports.com/Kelly Green. Get yours now. We'll put that link in the comment section and in the description of this video. To our training camp losers, Marcus Mariota up to this juncture of training camp has been somewhat underwhelming. And he just hasn't been decisive with his reads, but also he's been inaccurate, and he's made a lot of mistakes. Interceptions, bad throws, fumbled snaps. It's been a sloppy showing up to this point. I will defend him in saying that one of the weaknesses that I'm concerned about with the Eagles is the backup offensive line. And because Mariota is getting all second-team reps, that backup offensive line hasn't done a tremendous job of protecting him, but Mariota's been in the league for a minute. And he's been way too inconsistent and sloppy with the football, and he seems to be a player who's lacking confidence. This goes back to him losing a starting job with the Titans. He goes to the Raiders, is able to get that confidence back, but didn't really play much behind Derek Carr. And then last year, started off as the starter for the Atlanta Falcons. And if you watch the quarterback Netflix documentary, you saw this was a player who lost his job and left the team. He even said that he suffered from a lack of confidence throughout his career. That's been showing up to this point. I won't be surprised if the Eagles scour the backup quarterback market to see what quarterbacks don't make other teams across the NFL and if they can upgrade if the struggles for Mariota continue, even though they did pay him solid money for a backup in free agency. Now to Nicholas Morrow here. If you're getting unseated by Christian Ellis at UDFA a year after you had more than 100 tackles, double-digit tackles for loss, it's a little bit of a concern. And Morrow, because he's starting to lose reps at starting linebacker alongside Nakobe Dean, is why he's a loser. But also, Howie Roseman has openly discussed adding at that linebacker position, as we covered last week. Here's a direct quote from Howie. We've got a lot of young players at that position. We're excited to see those guys, evaluate them on a daily basis. And again, like anything, we'll keep our options open. We're never going to close the door on an opportunity to improve our team, so we'll constantly be looking at that position and every position. And even though he said we're going to look at every position, he has to say that, right? He is specifically talking about linebacker here. And the buzz is that nobody's really popped. Nakobe Dean hasn't really shown up and shown out by any measure. Nicholas Morrow hasn't really turned a lot of heads in a positive fashion. And there's a lot of chatter that Howie Roseman could look to upgrade that position a la pretty much like that C.J. Gardner-Johnson trade as we approach the regular season last year. Training camp loser number 3, Aaron Siposs. So shout out to Jimmy Kempski. I think the Eagles have some of the best beat reporters among all beat reporters out there just because of the detail in which they cover the game of football and cover this team. For instance, you have Elliott Shore-Parks out there who charts all of the throws from these quarterbacks and actually has stats for quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. You have Jimmy Kempski going to this length to provide great details for content creators like me and broadcasters, but also everybody out there and fans to digest this information. Jimmy Kempski put together a median average of the hang time for punts, and Ty Zentner was able to beat out Aaron Siposs, and Aaron Siposs kind of losing that inside track, or at least losing some headway to be this team's number 1 punter to Ty Zentner, who has been a little bit better than Siposs. Again, this is going to be one of those sneaky training camp battles and preseason battles to see who punts better, because Siposs in the Super Bowl was not good, and that allowed Kadarius Toney to have that big return, which led to 7 points for Kansas City late in that game and kind of altered the momentum of Super Bowl 57. So with that, who has disappointed you the most throughout training camp? I listed a couple of players. Mariota certainly has to be on that list for me. You let me know down in the comments section once more. And if you want to interact with me on Twitter and Instagram, you can find me there at Chase_Senior. I tweet out all the shows, tweet out clips, tweet out a bunch of great stats as well. And I guess now we might have to call Twitter X, because officially on my iPhone, the icon has changed. Either way, you get the deal at Chase_Senior. Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to subscribe.